Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of the 2018-19 movie Book of Monsters. So this movie is brought to you by Steven Spark, who is a movie director. He made this movie. It was a Kickstarter, so kind of a crowdfunding movie. It was released 2019, was it last year, at the Fright Festival in London, which is a big horror festival, and gained commercial success. And it's just come out on a collector's edition Blu-ray, which if you've not seen, I did a quick unboxing about it and I said I'd review it separately. So yeah, here I am back again reviewing the movie. So Book of Monsters, what's it about? I'm not going to give you too much on the plot because I'm encouraging people to go watch this, but it's essentially a movie about a young girl called Sophie. On her 18th birthday, she has a birthday party at her home and a bunch of dickheads come, and what happens is a virgin is sacrificed, his blood is spilt on the Book of Monsters, which brings to life monsters, and then it becomes just a practical monster killing movie in which Sophie and her friends need to survive the night of this onslaught of monsters. And it's pretty much that. It's pretty much a really simplistic plot. Nothing too deep, nothing too hidden. But in essence, in the real essence of what this film is what I took from it is I believe the filmmakers are huge horror fans. You can see that this was made by someone who loves the genre. You can tell, for me personally, this was made by someone who has an interest, a passion, a love for horror movies. This is completely a homage to 80s practical horror movies, such as The Thing, such as all the others, from the 80s. It's that genre. It's a real homage to that. Evil Dead 2 oozes its way through this. There are scenes of chainsaws, there are scenes of tape recorders playing messages, and I just took from it nostalgic Evil Dead 2 scenes, and there's bits with axes, and there's a real creepy scene in a shower where there's this head with multiple teeth, which reminded me of The Thing, but it also reminded me of the recent It movie when he pulls open his mouth. So I'm not sure if they took any inspiration from It, but certainly The Thing. You could just tell this is like if me and Randy Mole got a shitload of money and wanted to make a movie. This is, to me, is what we would, we wouldn't make this, which is not a bad thing, but this is what we'd want to do. Have a fucking good time making a real top quality. You got to remember, this is a low budget British indie horror flick. I think I read it was made for around $76,000, so whatever that is in UK sterling. So I think they've done a phenomenal job in the budget they've given. I think the story starts off quick, it's pacey, tiny little bit, probably in the second act I did felt it dragged, only because dragged is a bit harsh. It was certainly slower, but it hit it running. It was like boom, 110 metre hurdles, it's boom, gone, and you kind of clipped a couple of hurdles as you went, as you staggered a bit. But, overall, really fast paced, full of, it was completely cheesy in some areas. It was full of some fantastic one-liners, and my best was from a guy, I think his name was Gary, when everyone was getting his name wrong, and he flicked his hair back and he went, "I'm Gary." And I was in hysterics. It was just so well delivered. So, yeah, taking my hat off to you. If anybody of the people who've made this movie watching it, well done. I think this is a fantastic achievement in a low-budget, fun, gory, practical horror movie. So, I've talked about the plot. I don't want to give too much away about it, but it's essentially a horror monster movie. I like the fact that it sets up with the death of her mother, and it just cuts later to Sophie on her 18th birthday, which to be honest, Sophie looks about 30, but it is what it is. It was funny, I watched it with my wife, and my wife went, why do all the school kids look about 30? And I was like, well, probably because school kids won't be able to act in this, and, you know, they do certainly look a lot older, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't detract you from it, and to be honest, it was better, because, yeah, they were very good. Like I said, I watched with my wife. Just a few comments from her, and she's very much doesn't watch a huge amount of horror movies, so a casual horror fan. She thought the soundtrack was fantastic. She said it's like the 80s. It's like very synthy, and I do agree. There was some real good score and music throughout it, so good job there. She made the point about obviously the actors looking really old, but it is what it is. She thought some of the acting was not on point, particularly the father. But then when you watch it, you know, I said to her how much it costs, and she was, oh bloody hell, that's, you know, she what you did is she thought it was a bigger budget than you did, than it cost. It was certainly, it exceeded my expectations. I have watched a lot of in the past UK independent horror movie, low budgets, and you watch it and you go, God, this is low budget. God, it's shit. You could have made it so much better. But on the opening, even the opening scene when the camera pans into Sophie's bedroom and the mum's reading the stories from the book and the thunder and lightning. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I thought so well shot. It looked professional. It looked money well spent. It didn't look cheap. There we go. It didn't look cheap, and I thought that impressed me. I was expecting a lot worse. So as I said, it's quickly paced. It's got some good one-liners, some comedy. I think some of the jokes certainly work for me, but I can understand maybe not working for others. The practical effects are fantastic. There's a head guy with a head getting ripped off, and I hated that guy. So whoever he was, he did a great job of portraying himself as an arsehole, because I thought he was a fucking arsehole. So when he got his head ripped off, I was pleased. So some real great practical effects, gore effects. Very well shot. The monsters design in it, I really liked the monster with the poison mask, and the monster with the main monster who comes in and gets stabbed in the back. Yeah, they were what they were. They weren't digital. They were practical. Yes, there were men in suit or people in suits, but it don't really matter. It really didn't, to me, detract from the entertainment. I have seen some people say, "Oh, it looked awful, paper mache mask." I was like, no, not at all. To me, I thought they worked well. Like I said, very good practical effects. I think there's definitely the directors are Evil Dead fans. You've got to be if I'm not. But also some very solid performances, especially by the lead protagonist, Lindsay Crane, who played Sophie. She was really good, really strong actress. I thought she portrayed herself very well. Her little story arc, and the kind of and her love interest, which was a bit different, which was really good to see. You know, something a bit different, and I thought she did really well, and I could see her going on to do other horror movies and become. I think she could certainly become like a horror icon. So yeah, there we go. That's my quick review. So if you love 80s horror movies, and especially practical effect driven monster movies, this movie will tick a lot of boxes for you. It is a great time. It is fastly paced. There's some good humour, some good practical effects, some good acting, and maybe some not so good acting, but hey, it makes it all part of the fun enjoyment of it. I had an absolute blast. I've watched it twice since I've got it, and I found that when I watch a film second time round on quick succession of watch it first, if it doesn't hold up, I really do notice it, because I get quite bored watching it. But for this, I enjoyed it as much, and even picked up some other jokes on it. So it has certainly repeatability, certainly repeat viewing for me. So, fantastic job. And then also my unboxing, my poster I mentioned was damaged, and I got in touch with them, and the kind folks there sent me a replacement. So, nice people. So, well done. Fantastic movie. If I was going to score it, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. I don't do halves, otherwise I would give it probably a bit more. But certainly for me, it exceeded my expectations for a low budget horror movie, and I really do encourage people to go check it out. It is a great ride, and you can thank me later. So there we go, my quick review of Book of Monsters. Please go support UK British horror. Please go and watch this film. It's well worth your time. Okay, I'll see you again soon for another review. Cheers, bye.